My fiancée ended things without warning and said she needed to find herself. 1 week later, she called me in tears and said she still needed my support as a friend. I did not shout. I did not beg. I just told her to check the mail. What she found inside made her go quiet on the call. It happened on a Tuesday. I remember because we had paid the rent for our apartment the day before. Everything felt normal. We ate dinner, cleaned up, and sat on the couch like we always did. There was no argument, no tension, no warning sign that something was about to explode. Then Megan turned to me with a calm, finished look and said she was leaving. After 4 years together and 2 years engaged, she said it was over. She said she needed to find herself. She said she felt like she had lost who she was. She said she needed to be alone to figure out her life. She said it was not about me. It was about her. It was the most common breakup line in the world, but she said it like she was saying something deep and brave. I did not yell. I did not beg. I have worked as a project manager for years, and that job trains you to stay steady. Big emotions do not fix broken plans. When something changes, you take the new information and adjust. You do not panic. You do not make speeches. You look at reality and respond to it. So I looked at her, the woman I thought I would marry, and suddenly she felt like a stranger who had made a business decision. I said okay. Then I asked when she was leaving. My lack of drama surprised her. She probably expected tears, anger, promises, or a fight. Instead, I was calm. She said she would stay with her sister for a while. She said she would pack a bag that night and get the rest of her things later. Then she got up, pulled out a suitcase, and started packing. I helped her carry it to her car. I did it quietly, like I was helping a roommate move out, not the person I planned my future with. She drove away. Her engagement ring was sitting on the coffee table. The silence in the apartment afterward felt heavy, like the air itself had turned solid. For the next few days, I moved like a machine. I went to work. I came home. I ate dinner alone. I stared at the walls. Then I did what I always do when a plan collapses. I made a list of everything that was now my responsibility. A list of loose ends. A list of tasks that had to be handled because life does not pause just because your heart is in pieces. Our wedding was supposed to happen in 3 months. We had deposits down on everything. A beautiful old barn for the venue. A photographer. A caterer. A band. Flights and hotels for a honeymoon in Italy. Most of it was already paid or partially paid. For the past year, my life had been spreadsheets, reminders, payment schedules, and checklists. Everything was aimed at one day that now would never happen. A week after she left, Megan called me. I answered because I assumed she wanted to pick up the rest of her belongings. That was not why she called. She said hello, and her voice was small and shaky. She asked how I was holding up. I told her I was managing. She sounded relieved, and she said she knew this was hard, but she hoped we could still be friends. She said she still needed my support right now. She said she was confused. She said I had always been her rock. I sat there holding the phone and felt something cold rise inside me. My rock. She had blown up our life with a single sentence and walked away. She ended our future, our plans, our wedding, our home, all for a vague idea of self-discovery. And now she wanted me to be her support system while she explored her freedom. She wanted comfort without commitment. She wanted the benefits of me without the responsibility of us. She wanted a friend. I said okay. I said we could be friends. Her relief was immediate. She thanked me. She called me the best. She said she knew I would understand. I told her I did understand. Then I said since we were just friends now, there were things we needed to settle. I told her to check the mail tomorrow. She sounded confused and asked why. I told her to just check it. Then I ended the call before she could ask more. She had no idea what I had been doing all week. I was not just sitting around feeling sorry for myself. I had been working. Every night, I had been on the phone and online, carefully taking apart the future we had built together. I canceled, confirmed, documented, and saved every receipt. That night, I prepared a package. A large envelope, thick and heavy. Inside, I placed several documents, each one in its own clear sleeve. The first document was a copy of the wedding venue contract. I highlighted the section about cancellations. The deposit, $10,000, was non-refundable. The second document was the caterer receipt. Their policy was slightly better. They kept half of the deposit. That was a loss of $2,500. The third document was the photographer invoice, the one she insisted on. A trendy professional who demanded a non-refundable booking fee of $3,000. The fourth document was the confirmation that our flights to Italy were canceled. I got some flight credit, but the booking fees were gone. Another $500 lost. Then came the most important document, the dress. 3 weeks before she left, Megan bought her wedding dress. She picked a designer she loved, and it was custom made. The total was $8,000. She paid with a credit card in both our names, but I was the main account holder. I was the one who paid the bill each month from my personal account. The day after she left, I called the credit card company and removed her as an authorized user. Then I called the bridal shop. The dress was finished. The contract said the purchase was not refundable. The full amount was due. Then I included the final document, the spreadsheet. At the top, in clean bold text, it said Project Closure Wedding. It listed every deposit and every cancellation fee. Venue $10,000. Caterer $2,500. Photographer $3,000. Flights $500. Total $16,000. Then I added the dress $8,000. Grand total $24,000. At the bottom of the sheet, I wrote one sentence. Total cost of finding yourself 24,000. Then another line. Since we are now friends, I have calculated your half of the share cancellation costs. Your portion is 12,000. Please pay at your earliest convenience. I sealed the envelope and sent it overnight to her sister's address. It would arrive the next morning. The next day I was at work when Megan called. I let go to voicemail. She called again, and again, and again. On the fifth call I answered. I did not say hello. I just listened. She said she got the package. Her voice was shaking with shock and anger. She asked what it was and if I was serious. I told her it was a project closure report. Standard practice. She yelled that this was not a project, and I was billing her for breaking up. She said I was insane. I asked why. I told her she wanted my support as a friend, and real friends do not leave their friend with a 24,000 loss for a party they decided to cancel. I told her she ended the engagement, and she was responsible for the results of that choice. I told her this is what those results look like in black and white. She yelled that she was not paying. She said I could not make her. I told her she was right. I could not force her. Then I told her the dress was different. The dress contract had her name and signature. The shop was waiting for payment. If she did not pay, collections would handle it, and they would not care about her feelings. As for the other 16,000, I told her she could choose not to pay her half. But if she did, then she was not a friend. She was just someone who cost me a lot of money, and I did not keep people like that in my life. I told her the choice was hers. Then she went quiet. The silence lasted long enough that I could hear her breathing. She had expected to float away into freedom with me as the safety net under her. I had cut the net. Finally, she whispered that she hated me. I told her I knew. Then I ended the call. The reaction came fast. Her sister Katie called that night screaming. She said I was cruel and heartless. She said Megan was struggling and I was attacking her. I asked one question. Was Megan going to pay her half or not? Katie said no. She said I had the better job and I could afford it. She called me petty. She called me vindictive. I told her Megan wanted the freedom of being single, but still wanted the financial benefits of being with me. I told Katie it does not work that way. I said the offer stood. Pay her half and we can be friends. If not, I was writing her off. Then I ended that call too. After that came the online drama. Megan posted a long emotional story on social media about a toxic ex trying to financially destroy her for choosing her happiness. She did not mention the real details. She did not mention the deposits. She did not mention the dress. She did not mention the shared card. A few mutual friends rushed to support her and called me controlling and bitter. They claimed I was punishing her for leaving. I did not argue online. Instead, I emailed the few friends whose opinions mattered to me. The subject said, for your information. I attached the same documents I sent Megan. Contracts, receipts, the spreadsheet. I ended the email with a simple note. This is not punishment. This is the bill for a cancel plan. I am sending this so you have the full story before choosing a side. After that, the tone changed quickly. One friend called me and apologized. He said he had no idea. He said Megan made it sound like I was just being cruel, but wanting her to pay for her own dress and half the deposits was not cruel. It was fair. He said he and others confronted her in a group chat, and she exploded, accused them of not supporting her, and kicked them out. A few weeks later, things got even more real. The bridal shop had been calling Megan for payment. She ignored them, so they sent the account to a collection agency. Now her self-discovery came with letters, phone calls, and a credit score dropping fast. She got desperate. One night, she showed up at my apartment without warning. I had just come home from the gym. She stood in the hallway crying, real tears this time. She begged me to help her. She said collections was ruining her credit. She said she could not even get approved for her own apartment. She begged me to pay for the dress and promised she would pay me back. I said no. She asked why I was acting like this. She said she thought we were friends. She said I promised support. I told her I was supporting her. I said real adulthood is taking responsibility for your choices. I said she chose the dress. I said she chose to end the engagement. Now, she had to choose to pay her bills. I told her this is what finding yourself looks like. Not a relaxing trip somewhere beautiful. It is a call from a collection agency. Then I closed the door and left her standing there. About a month after the breakup, I learned the real truth from someone I did not expect. I was at a work happy hour with colleagues when a guy from sales came up to me. His name was Ben. I barely knew him. He asked if he could talk to me privately. We stepped outside. Ben said he felt awkward, but thought I should know something. He said he had been dating a woman named Megan. He said she told him a wild story about her ex-fiancée, a project manager who went crazy after she left and tried to bankrupt her. She never said my name, but Ben worked in my company too. He put together. Then he said the part that made my blood go cold. He said they had been dating for about 2 months. They met about a month before Megan ended things with me. So the breakup was not about finding herself. It was about finding someone else. Ben said Megan told him our relationship with her was basically dead already, that we were like roommates, and the find myself line was just her way of leaving without feeling like the villain. Ben told me he did not know she was engaged. When he learned the timeline and saw her behavior, he started digging. He heard the truth from people connected to my friends. He said he broke up with her and told her it was because she was a liar. I thanked him for telling me. I shook his hand. Then I sat with that new truth. She did not leave to discover who she was. She left because she had a replacement ready, and the replacement did not work out. I thought the worst was over. It was not. Next came her father. He called me and spoke with a calm, authoritative voice. He was a lawyer, The type who sounds like he is used to getting his way. He said he was disappointed in me. He said my invoice was not how a gentleman behaves. I told him a gentleman does not get left with a 24,000 loss. I told him Megan ended the engagement alone. I was just dividing the financial results of that decision. He said it was beneath me. He said I was successful, and it was a small amount for me, but crushing for her. He accused me of using money to punish her. He told me to stop collecting, pay the bridal shop, and consider the matter closed. He threatened legal action for harassment. I asked what grounds. He said emotional distress and reputational damage. I laughed because it was hard not to. Her reputation was damaged by her own choices. My actions only added reality to her story. I told him I had a signed contract with Megan's signature for the dress. I told him it was a real debt. I told him I also had records of her using the joint card for personal spending that I paid. I told him if he wanted court, we could go to court. I told him Megan could explain to a judge why her ex should pay for a wedding dress for a wedding she canceled while dating someone else. He went quiet. He expected me to back down. He finally said I was making a mistake and ended the call. No lawsuit happened, but the pressure continued. A week later, my boss called me and said HR received an anonymous email accusing me of harassment and creating a hostile work environment. It was clearly meant to involve Ben and Megan. It was an attempt to hurt my career. My boss asked one question. Was there anything you should worry about? I said no. I forwarded him the documentation email I sent friends. I explained everything, including Ben. My boss called back later and said it was a personal mess and had nothing to do with my work. He told me HR would delete the complaint, but he warned me to be careful because Megan sounded unstable. The last I heard, Megan's parents paid for the dress to stop collections. They were furious. Her brave journey suddenly became an expensive problem they had to solve. Her relationship with her sister got worse too. Living with someone stressed, broke, and angry is not easy. Ben wanted nothing to do with her. She tried to damage my job, and he was disgusted. About 6 months after the breakup, I was on a date with someone new. We were at a nice restaurant downtown, laughing, enjoying the night. Across the room, I saw Megan. She was on a date too, with a man who looked like me, but older, and I suspected with more money. She saw me, and her eyes went wide. I was not miserable. I was not alone. I was not begging. I was fine. I was happy. Her face showed real shock, like she could not understand how the person she left behind had moved forward without her. I did not wave. I did not smile at her. I did not rub it in. I gave her a polite nod, the kind that says I hope you got what you wanted. Then I turned back to my date and let Megan fade into the background where she belonged.